In your past, did someone ever make a callous, cruel, or careless remark that stopped you in your tracks and prevented you from moving forward in a particular area, perhaps trying out a class, a physical activity of some kind, or a hobby, or something that you had a definite interest in and were intrigued by, but that person's careless comments just stopped you from moving forward? Hi, I'm Laura with Shine After 50, and today I'm going to tell you a short story about an experience I had while I was in my freshman year of college that did deflate me and defeat me and stop me from even thinking about attending a dance class, except for maybe one single class. As a child and as a teenager, I will share with you that I was quite uncoordinated, kind of klutzy. I was never athletic. In elementary school, I dreaded field day, sports day. I hated those potato sack races or anything involving groups because I would always end up being the last person. Also at home, my mother, being a lot more athletic, often chided me for throwing a baseball or a softball like a girl. Well, that's what I thought I was. Well, anyway, by the time I got into middle school and high school, I never made any team. I was always on, if there were 6 teams, I was on team 6. If there were 8 teams, I was on team 8. And as a result, the coaches just ignored us non-athletes. And so if you read my book, Gentle Yoga After 50, you realize that, or you will have learned that one of the main reasons I took up yoga at age 15 was because I was not getting much exercise. And I stumbled across an article about all the benefits of yoga. And in addition to that, because I always had an innate interest in health, I was also influenced by the books by Kenneth Cooper, Dr. Kenneth Cooper, who wrote a lot about aerobics. And so as a result, I skipped rope, jumped rope to the tunes of Jumping Jack Flash by the Rolling Stones and other classic rock tunes, and I also started jogging. So for that reason, even though I wasn't coordinated or athletic, I think I was still pretty fit by the time I entered my freshman year of college. I mean, I wasn't a couch potato. So I decided that I've always enjoyed dance, especially freestyle dance. I decided to sign up for a modern dance class my freshman year, first semester. So I went to that class, and truth be told, I was awkward. I stumbled and bumbled because I'm a bit uncoordinated. It takes me several times to catch on to a sequence. And when you're in a class, of a group class, that is difficult if you're like me to keep up with the class. So I stumbled and bumbled my way about. And by the end of the class, even though I enjoyed learning some things and these different modern dance movements, I did feel awkward and I felt a bit chagrined. So, given that I've always wanted to learn, and this was a school, a women's college, where we were told, or we were encouraged, not told, we were strongly encouraged to challenge ourselves physically and mentally. So when I went up to the instructor after the class, I expected to get some advice from her on how to improve. And I was the only person left in the room in the dance studio. And so I went up to her and she looked at me and sighed and said, "Have you ever done any form of exercise?" What? I immediately felt deflated, defeated, and I can't remember what I said. If I might have said to her, "Yes, of course, I jog, I do yoga, etc." But I don't know. I was just so taken aback that that was the only time, or that was the last time that I attended that class. And that's really a sad thing to have one individual. I mean, that was just really a negative action on the part of that instructor. And so I just felt I never went back to that class, and I was really reluctant to ever consider signing up for another dance class. Even though I continue to dance freestyle, I've always done that. I love dancing, especially 1980s music or hard rock, or and now even some contemporary artists I like to dance to. So I continued dancing at mixers, parties, weddings, etc. But I never entered another class or signed up for another class until this past week. I recently moved back to Washington, D.C., and I joined a club for strength training mainly because I needed to get back into that. And then also they have a lot of class options. I've attended some Pilates, and then a few days ago I noticed that they had a cardio dance class. I thought, great, because I love dancing around. But I will say, I signed up, but then I did think about it the day before. I thought, gee, am I going to feel foolish again in a dance class? Because I'd already been apprehensive. I had only been to one single class with a friend, a hip hop dance back in 2011 or 12. And I remember feeling a little bit awkward then too. But decided to go ahead because after all, as I said in my previous video, it's important to keep challenging yourself and to keep learning and growing as the years go by after age 50, because we've got to squeeze the juice out of life. So, not knowing exactly quite what to expect, I went to the class. The only thing I expected was that it was going to be fast-paced because it's a cardio workout. Went into the class. There were about 20 people. It's a huge studio. About 20 people, all women, one man. And then the instructor came in, kind of almost running into the room, cranked up the music, and he just went into fast-paced moves, Latin tunes, and had us jumping from side to side, dancing, moving. And I will say I did feel awkward at times. I couldn't keep up. I mean, he was so fast. But at the same time, I really enjoyed it. And it reminded me, and as I mentioned, and I'll include the link to the article, I wrote an article about this in my Substack newsletter. I really did feel like Shakira was ready to pop into the room because it was tunes, these Latin tunes, and I realized how challenging it was, not only physically, but also mentally, just to try to follow the steps, the sequencing. So overall, I will say I did stumble and bumble just as I had in that modern dance class, but I had fun and no one cared. Everyone was going at their own pace, however, their own abilities. The dance instructor just kept moving, jumping and jiving fast through the whole thing, sweated a lot. And by the end of that class and the next day or so, I will say I had some sore muscles, but I really had fun because I always like moving the music. There's something unique, and I do address that in the article about the combination of moving to music that really elevates and boosts your mood and your spirits. So I will leave you with this question today again that I started out with in the beginning of this video. Has something from your past, someone's careless, cruel, callous remark ever stopped you from moving forward in something you wanted to learn, that you were eager to try out? If you have, and that stopped you, reconsider now, since we're over age 50 and we want to make the most out of life, is to think about trying that out again. A person's careless words from the past should not stop you from enjoying some legitimate experiences that could really boost your mood, make you feel great, be great for your body, mind, and spirit. So remember, keep challenging yourself, shine on, and I'll see you next time.